Hey folks, Coach Wade here with your Knots to Know series. I'm going to be going over the 13th knot in our Knots to Know curriculum today, the trucker's hitch. The trucker's hitch is actually not a knot so much as it's a system to tie rope off when it's under tension. In that, it's just like the round turn and 2 half hitches, but as you're going to see, it has some advantages over the round turn and 2 half hitches. To tie this knot or this tension device, you're going to need to actually tie 3 knots. 3 knots we've already taught. The first is the bowline, which is going to be our initial anchor point. The second is going to be the butterfly, which we're going to use as a tightening device. And the third is essentially a half turn followed by 2 half hitches. So if you need to review some of the earlier knots in the series, I'll try and give a few explanations of how to do it and remind you, but mainly you need to know those 3 knots. Alright, let me zoom in now so you can see exactly what I'm doing with my hands. I'm going to be tying off this line from this side of my squat rack to this side of my squat rack. And what I'm going to be doing in a trucker's hitch, and you'll see how it's nice and taut, how it's nice and tight. But later this evening, I got to make a run to Home Depot to help a friend pick up something that we're going to put in the back of the truck. And I'll use that as an opportunity to show you how I tie it again, how I tie the trucker's hitch again, and you'll be able to see how it actually works in a really practical situation. That's probably, this is one of those really common, extremely useful things to know about working with rope and working with knots. So with that, let me zoom in and show you a tight angle shot of tying the knot. Okay, so the first part of our trucker's hitch is anchoring the line to our first anchor point. So to tie it in, I'm going to tie the bowline. As you recall from the earlier videos, to tie a bowline we needed to create a bite, and I want to create that bite such that the loop points away from me, the running end finishes the bite on top of the bite, and I'm going to hold it just like this so that it's easy for me to see where the rabbit's going to come up through the hole. So, just like we learned before, the rabbit comes up through the hole, goes around the tree, and back down the hole and finishes down the hole in such a way that my running end finishes up on the inside of the knot. Next, I'm going to secure this with an overhand knot. I'm going to have to work a little more line through it. That's okay though. I got a little more running end to work with to tie my overhand. And there's my overhand knot with a 4-inch pigtail. Okay, so I've secured the first point. This is the first of the 3 knots that are going to make up our trucker's hitch. So the next thing I need to do now that it's secured at one end is I'm going to put a butterfly in the middle of the rope about 1/3 to 4/5 away from the second anchor point. That's going to serve as almost like a pulley, as a tightening device. So I'm going to tie my butterfly again. I'll go through it quickly, but if you're having trouble, you can just go back and review the butterfly knot and the other knots to know videos. Okay, so tying my butterfly, I'm going to make 2 equally sized loops in my hand. Okay, 2 loops, which gives me 3 lines coming across the top of my palm. I number them 1, 2, and 3. I take 1, I put it between 2 and 3. I renumber them 1, 2, and 3, and I take the new number 1 and I pass it over both of the other lines and into the loops. From this point, I pull that one loop by itself out, and then I tighten a knot and dress it down such that I get my butterfly collars, 2 collars or wings, and an X on the back. So I dress it up to make sure that happens. Next, I take my line around my second anchor point and through my butterfly. That butterfly now is serving as a pulley, and it gives me almost a 3-to-1 advantage. You lose a little because of the friction of the rope acting upon itself, and now I've got it nice and taut. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 half hitches over the entire knot system. 1, and I'm going to keep that tension and work the slack of my half hitch down. So I keep the tension in the device. And now I want an opposing half hitch. So that one finished down, I want this one to finish up. And there is my trucker's hitch. Okay, so we're here at Home Depot, and now we're going to get an opportunity to see how we actually use the trucker's hitch. So I'm going to tie a trucker's hitch. I'm going to start it. We're waiting for a 300-pound box that we're about to load in the back of my truck. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a bowline to my anchor point on the truck. Okay? Nothing special about that. I'm not going to dwell on it long. Okay? Okay, there's my bowline knot. I'm going to have a lot of weight on it, and I really want to be sure this doesn't slip. Tie an overhand knot just to make sure this doesn't slip. Okay, so there's my overhand knot. Bowline knot, running end secured with an overhand knot. Next, I'm going to set up my trucker's hitch. I can't finalize it until the box gets here. But I can go ahead and I can put in a tightening device or that pulley system that's going to give me the 3-to-1 advantage. So I'm going to put a loop in the rope by tying a butterfly right here. And just dress that up. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the other line. But we can't finish it off until we actually get the box, which we're waiting on. We'll make it quick. Alright, so we got our giant 350-pound box that fills up my entire flatbed in the truck. And now we want to secure this, because if this falls out on the road, bad things are going to happen. So this is secured at one end, remember, with a bowline. And we've got a tightening device here. I'm going to go through another anchor point down here at the bottom, and I'm going to come back up to that tightening device. That's just going to allow me to put all the tension on it. There we go. Alright, through the tightening device. This is going to allow me to get 3-to-1 advantage. Nice and tight. And then I'm going to seal that off with 2 half hitches. That's what it's not going in. One. And then we'll make a second one in the opposite direction. Just like I showed you in the first part of the video. A little rope management here, just to make sure that this rope is out of the way. Tie this off up here. And then we'll do the other one. Okay, so that line's out of the way. Now we're going to do the other one. Same thing with the butterfly tied over there. Remember that you could also tie a bowline on a bite or a directional figure 8. I just like the butterfly because I find it's a little quicker and it usually comes out a little easier. But any of those will work. Okay. And now my 3-to-1 advantage. And we're going to tie it off with 2 half hitches right here, trying to keep the tension on the line by working that slack through. That's 1 half hitch. And now the other half hitch. And we're done.